State lawmakers are working to secure extra funding for schools taking in new immigrant students. And it's costing Denver area school districts millions of dollars to provide resources and extra support for these new students.
According to a Common Sense Institute study out today, at the start of the year, Metro Area District received 6,000 new students costing $85 million. Denver Public Schools tells us they've received over 3,400 immigrant students.
And at least 2,000 of those students arrived after the enrollment count. So that caused the district to miss out on $17.5 million in funding for those students because schools get funding per student.
That is a lot of money. And Denver 7's Claire Lavazorio is breaking down the proposed bill that would help districts with the unexpected influx.
Under this draft bill, all Colorado school districts that receive newly arrived students after the October 1st funding cutoff date would receive some sort of financial help, depending on the number of students, anywhere from $15,000 to $750,000. So school districts like Denver and Aurora would receive the biggest chunk out of the $24 million. Colorado's Joint Budget Committee unanimously supports a bill which would dish out money to school districts with new immigrant students in their classrooms.
For them to be able to hire additional paraprofessionals, additional teachers, provide the additional services that are needed that are unexpected. Were unexpected.
If the bill becomes law, $24 million would be distributed by May 31st to districts that have enrolled new arrival students or students who moved to the U.S. less than a year ago are not proficient in English. The money is coming from the state education fund after property taxes came in higher than anticipated. Since the beginning of July, more than 3,400 of these students have joined Denver Public Schools. DPS spokesperson Scott Pribble says 2,000 of those arriving after the October 1st enrollment count.
Where we were welcoming 100 students or so before the holidays, we're now seeing a couple hundred students each week coming in through our doors.
The payments would be given out based on this tiered system. School districts with the most students get the most money. Plus, districts whose enrollment has increased because of these newcomers could get $4,500 per student. State Representative Emily Sirota, who's been backing the bill, says she's been hearing the cry for help from schools and teachers.
I think that the additional support will go a long way to helping all the kids in Colorado schools.
A DPS spokesperson says we are grateful to our state legislators who are working to provide additional financial assistance to all the Colorado school districts that are engaged in this work. I'm Claire Lavazorio for Denver 7.
We reached out to Governor Jared Polis's office for his support on this bill, and he tells us, quote, ensuring that school districts receive the funding they need to educate students where they are currently attending school has been a top priority since day one. Governor Polis is working with the legislature on a proposal to provide additional funding for school districts that have new arrivals after the October count date.
And for more context here on what lawmakers are doing to financially support these immigrants right now, a bill passed out of committee this month to provide funding to community-based organizations that provide services to people from the southern border. So if this were to become law, it would create a grant program. Organizations would then use the money for employment services, providing legal help, housing, transportation, and other essential needs for the new arrivals.